Let's assume that you own a small plant that manufactures riding lawnmowers. The plant has a fixed cost, which includes leasing and insurance and so on, of $65,000 per day, and a variable cost, which may change, labor, material, and so on, of $1,500 per unit produced. You're going to sell your mowers for $2,000 each. So what we want to look at is the cost and the revenue equation. But the first thing is the question says, what is the break-even point? What is the break-even? So break-even is when the cost is going to equal the revenue. So let's set these two equations equal to each other. And we're going to solve for x. And when we finish, x is going to be 130. So what that says is, how many units I have to manufacture per day? It's going to be 130 per day to break even. The next question asks us to identify the graph that we will use. So let's just look at the graph. First of all, I'm going to use my 130 on my revenue, and I'm going to put 130 here. So y would be 260,000. So I have 130 at 260,000. Also, I want to find my y-intercept. How do I find my y-intercept? I let x equal to 0. So I have y is equal to 65,000 plus 1,500 times 0. Y would be 65,000. So here's another order pair, 0, 65,000. Another thing is if I let on my revenue, my y-intercept, I'm going to change colors. Y would be equal to 2,000 again, x. And if I use 0, then y is equal to 0. So I have the ordered pair 0, 0. This is good. This is where I'm starting out. So that's important when I start looking at the graphs. Now, do I have one that have 0, 0? This one doesn't. This one doesn't start out with 0. But this, remember the red is the revenue. And we start out. Now, let's look at the black. Here is our break-even point. And after that, we're going to have revenue. So the question says, what does the region below the line to the left of the break-even point represents? Well, it represents a loss when X riding mowers are manufactured. And what does the region between the lines to the right of the break-even point represent? It represents profit. That's where we all want to be. Profit when X riding mowers are manufactured. So we have profit here.